AOC. What? She's kind of fun in a silly but earnest, wrong but adorable way. She's like your daughter when she comes back from her first year at Brown, full of half-baked, half opinions, in need of some gentle, patient deprogramming. But people have to realize new faces doesn't mean new ideas. Drives me crazy. AOC has never introduced a fresh idea.
More and more I'm seeing people on the right offering like some praise for her, like, oh, don't count out AOC. And she's a fighter because she seems to have some of the same base as Trump, people who want an outsider. Wake up, people. Wake up. She was 100% on the side of Jordan Neely here, throwing out all the racism accusations and all that her woke identity politics playbook. She is no friend to reason. So stop, okay? Just stop. The praise of AOC has to end from anybody who wants justice, wants reason, wants sanity to prevail, and isn't on the side of woke identity.
Just when AOC thought her latest hot take would ignite Twitter with applause and emojis, Greg Gutfeld and Megyn Kelly arrived with sarcasm, receipts, and zero chill. Gutfeld roasted her like it was open mic night at the Capitol. Megyn dismantled her logic like IKEA furniture without the manual and AOC. She stuck in a word salad, no dressing. What did they say that turned her viral moment into a verbal demolition? Oh, it's pettier than Congress in a group chat.
Drives me crazy. AOC has never introduced a fresh idea or issue in her life. The reason why she gets along with Bernie is because she's like an 80-year-old leftist in a used bookstore. I mean, she may look fresh, but she's as stale as an abandoned futon on the street. It's like, I listen to her, I go, I heard that at Berkeley in 1983.
AOC just walked into another intellectual buzzsaw wearing a t-shirt that said, "Tax the Rich," sipping a $14 oat milk latte, while attempting to explain economics with the confidence of a kid who just found the calculator app. And this time, it wasn't a debate. This was a full-blown, unprovoked public combustion. Greg Gutfeld and Megyn Kelly didn't even raise their voices. They just lit the match and watched the Green New Deal melt like biodegradable Jell-O under a tanning lamp.
Let's check in on AOC and see what she has to say.
Any quick reaction on what's going on with Elon Musk and President Trump on Twitter right now?
Oh, man, the girls are fighting, aren't they? I think this breakup we've been seeing a long time coming, but we'll see what the impacts are of it legislatively.
Okay. You're so cool referring to them as the girls. She's above it all, Ben. That's what she's trying to telegraph. You see, she's the adult in the room, the one out there who does a preacher accent, and she leans into her fake Latina accent, and she's the adult in the room.
First, let's be crystal clear. This wasn't a debate, discussion, or roundtable. It was like watching someone bring a spoon to a flamethrower fight. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez opened her mouth somewhere in Washington, probably near a hole. Foodsand, the ripple effect reached two people with a low tolerance for nonsense and an even lower threshold for economic fairy tales.
It's no surprise. Who would go see a movie that's the opposite of entertaining? There's nothing entertaining about that. Michael Moore's colonoscopy is more entertaining than that because there's probably more twists. But it does show you how great it is to be a progressive in a liberal biased culture. She really doesn't do her job, right? She makes movies, she goes to galas, she sits for glossy butt-kissing interviews in GQ and other women's mags. Once you get over to the fact that you're hollow inside, it's not a bad life.
Greg Gutfeld, with the subtlety of a chainsaw in a library, took one look at AOC's latest plan and treated it with the reverence most people reserve for expired coupons. Megyn Kelly brought the receipts, the sarcasm, and the energy of someone who's been waiting months to clap back at TikTok-level policy takes disguised as moral crusades.
So their problem is, and the reason why they don't have any ideas is they operate on half opinions. Like, what if we get rid of cash bail? Oh, let's do it. What happens? You have repeat criminals wreaking havoc. What if we have sanctuary cities? Hey, let's do it. What happens? You have rapists and killers, finding sanctuary, safe haven. What if we give trans rights that we don't have? Well, you just ruin women's sports, you ruin safe spaces, you make kids' lives hell, but they never think about what their ideas incentivize. That would be nice. So where are their ideas going to come from?
It all started when AOC decided it was the perfect moment to redefine success in America by eliminating it. Her newest proposal wasn't a policy pitch. It was a Tumblr post from 2011 with more hashtags than logic. According to her, the U.S. economy would thrive if we just let the government run it like a nonprofit yoga studio. Forget incentives, competition, innovation. AOC's dream is a group project where no one works and everyone gets an A.
But of the New York Times review, and Teo, he thinks that the hopelessness of the movie makes it a hard sell for people who would go see the movie and also for voters to change their minds about climate change. But they said for AOC that she offers the best on-screen antidote to despair because she's funny, a canny political strategy. But they don't like it if conservatives are funny. Yeah. Right? It's only
that's
helpful
mean.
there. Right?
If a conservative is funny, that's mean. You're
right.
mean. You're being mean.
Cue Greg Gutfeld, who examined her economic ideas like a physicist, reviews a Flat Earthor's PowerPoint. His reaction wasn't anger, it was scientific curiosity. How can someone speak so confidently while being so alarmingly wrong? The only explanation: AOC lives in a pocket universe where rent is paid in feelings, and inflation is just a vibe-killing billionaire conspiracy. Megyn Kelly didn't just dismantle AOC, she slow-roasted her over a fire fueled by Harvard Business, review articles, and decades of no yelling. Yelling implies logic might reach the person. Instead, Megyn calmly set down her wine, adjusted her blazer, and eviscerated every molecule of credibility AOC had. No rebuttal, no direct response. Gutfeld and Kelly held up a mirror. AOC's logic self-immolated on contact.
This performance from AOC, who decided to go to the Bronx and pretend she was Cardi B.
Are you ready to fight? Are you ready to take this borough back? Are you ready to win on this?
You're not Cardi B. You're not Muhammad Ali. You're a congressional Kardashian.
Let's take her climate plan, the infamous Green New Deal, also called the Great American Dream Killer. It's not a plan. It's a Pinterest board of well-meaning hallucinations. AOC wants to eliminate fossil fuels, ensure high-paying jobs, for all free housing, healthcare, and yes, economic security, even for those unwilling to work, not unable and willing. That's not policy. That's a ransom note from someone who thinks monopoly money is legal tender. Gutfeld didn't say much. He just pointed to the part banning air travel, then held up a U.S. map. That was it. Just visual comedy. He gestured at the Pacific. Where's the bullet train from L.A. to Honolulu, Alex? Performance art. Meanwhile, Megyn Kelly calmly explained that you can't run a first-world economy on vibes and Instagram infographics. Socialism fails not for lack of effort, but because redistributing money doesn't create more of it. That's how yard sales work. And even then, you still need something worth selling.
This is the reason why you can't even compromise with temporary solutions. Because even if you give a temporary solution to a lefty, they're going to make it permanent. There's no such thing as temporary, whether it was mail-in ballots, or it's the moratorium. You give them and they go, oh, yeah, sure, and we'll get back to normal. No, they won't. Moratorium, they don't even know what that means. And we don't actually, I have to say, we don't talk about her at all. We talk about the stories, and we're always very, very respectful. I think she's incredibly talented, but she hasn't lived enough to be that arrogant in her wisdom.
But AOC keeps pushing the narrative that every billionaire is an evil dragon hoarding gold. And America's only barrier to utopia is political will. No market dynamics, no debt or deficit understanding. Just hopes that the IRS grows 6 arms. And a vengeance kink. Gutfeld nearly choked on his sarcasm when AOC proposed another massive program funded by taxing the rich. The go-to strategy of people who think the Laffer curve is a new Disneyland ride. His reply, brutal and simple. If high taxes fixed everything, California would already be a socialist utopia instead of a dumpster fire wrapped in avocado toast. But AOC's convinced it's not bad policy. It's that Americans aren't enlightened enough for her genius. In her world, opposition isn't about reason, history, or facts. It's always sexism, racism, or some other distraction. Because when your ideas are as sturdy as a Jenga tower during an earthquake, it's easier to blame critics than admit your blueprint was drawn in crayon.
This week, well, last week before the inauguration, AOC saying, I'm not going to the inauguration because I don't support rapists. That is a defamatory statement. She didn't make clear that's opinion. She said it as though it were a matter of fact. It isn't. And I really think he should give some serious thought to suing her. She wasn't on the legislative floor. She was sitting in her apartment doing a little Instagram. You can't get away with that. A term like he's a rapist or he's committing potential treason in working with the Russians, like news organizations have just, and politicians for that matter, given up all the guardrails that we used to observe.
Megyn Kelly didn't even entertain the nonsense. She ran AOC's ideological playbook through a shredder labeled reality. Kelly noted AOC has spent more time building a brand than learning how her government job works. This is the same congresswoman who said the world ends in 12 years, then danced in a video blaming capitalism for bad weather. Now she's back with another pitch, a moral economy powered by feelings, student loan forgiveness, and too many task forces. Gutfeld laughed. When your answer to everything is more government, you're not solving anything. Writing a bad sitcom. Let's not forget AOC's obsession with regulating everything: energy, housing, even cow flatulence. Gutfeld held up a methane chart and asked, is AOC planning carbon filters for cows? And honestly, she probably is. Meanwhile, Kelly wondered aloud if AOC thinks the Constitution is just a suggestion like serving sizes on a chip bag. AOC frames herself as a revolutionary, yet her ideas carry the intellectual weight of a BuzzFeed quiz. Her worldview is Marxist-light, meets Starbucks branding, and every time someone challenges her, she flees to Twitter threads and virtue signaling videos from a suspiciously upscale apartment.
You heard that AOC, among others, were arrested last night. She truly is an American hero. It was brutal, taken out in cuffs. Well, technically, her shirt had cuffs. Maybe French cuffs, as she did surrender without fighting. But if her pants had cuffs, she would have pretended to be in leg irons too. But real handcuffs, not so much. But that didn't stop her from pretending. And I hate it when people do this to me. When I ask people to put on handcuffs and they say, I'll just pretend I have them on, I'd be like, sure, and I'll pretend to pay you after.
Gutfeld called her economic vision performance art with subtitles. That's generous. At this point, AOC's entire strategy is 1. Dig up history's worst idea, 2. Rebrand it in pastel, 3. Blame white men when it fails. Megyn Kelly, with her calm but lethal tone, noted that AOC hides her cluelessness behind emotional appeals. It's not enough to care deeply. Toddlers do that. Adults solve problems. Every time AOC tries to fix something, she creates 3 new ones then. Makes a TikTok about it. Gutfeld compared her political career to a pop-up shop there for attention. Selling nothing, gone when accountability arrives. Her trillion-dollar plans are pitched with the confidence of a drunk guy at open mic, and that, Gutfeld says, is the strongest argument for term limits. The irony. AOC claims to speak for the working class, yet she peddles the same elitist nonsense that hurts them. Her solutions: raise taxes, ban stuff, throw money, then blame others on Instagram. Megyn tore through that like a buzzsaw through papier. MCH. She reminded us, real progressives don't spend their days posing for Vogue while pretending. Oppression. AOC wants a revolution, but she wants it sponsored by Glossier and delivered in biodegradable packaging.
There's the true radical left, who's gone beyond all the identity issues. I mean, don't get me wrong. The person I'm going to show you is 100% wrapped in all of them, but like genuinely believes the Hitler fascist stuff, like is distraught because they really think Hitler just got reelected. Most of them were just pretending, but then there are the ones who genuinely believe it, like AOC.
We are about to enter a political period that will have consequences for the rest of our lives. Donald Trump has talked about turning the military on U.S. citizens that he deems his domestic political enemies. Authoritarians and people that he affiliates closely with and strongmen abroad, in regimes like that, it is not uncommon to jail political dissidents or legislative opponents.
One of the most prominent Democrats in America.
Gutfeld nailed its AOC isn't dangerous because of her power. She's dangerous because people pretend she has any lefty while she prances through Capitol Hill like it's a reality show. Actual adults are left cleaning up the legislative glitter bomb she detonates with every speech. Best part? Neither Gutfeld nor Kelly had to insult her. They just let her record speak for itself. And honestly, that's enough. You don't need a roast when the subject brings lighter fluid and jumps on the grill. AOC's career is a TED Talk, delivered by someone who just discovered Wikipedia. Passionate, sure, coherent, not close. Gutfeld closed by suggesting we all chip in for a copy of Economics for Dummies. Kelly added, "Make it a box set. She'll need a volume for each policy disaster she's imagined between brunch photos and her next meltdown about capitalism oppressing her Wi-Fi." So, no way OC didn't debate them. She wasn't in the room, but her ideology was, and it got body slanged. This wasn't disagreement, it was demolition. And while she's likely tweeting about being misunderstood, we'll sit back, grab popcorn, and enjoy the rare sight of two seasoned minds fact-checking nonsense until it disappears in a puff of TikTok smoke and ironic hash.
He's talking, there when I'm picturing AOC lecturing us about our hamburgers, how we can't have them anymore, and we can't have heat in our homes, we can't have SUVs, and we can't, now the left wants us, we have to get rid of our gas stoves. It's a no. And so, they are very punitive. They want to control the way we live, of course, from their own private jets and mansions, which are, they're gas guzzling and energy guzzling by the minute. And he's feeling it. But I think this one goes beyond just the squad or left.
AOC's political strategy is like a toddler trying to pilot a Boeing 747 with finger paints and blind optimism. She crafts narratives soaked in buzzwords, then hurls them at the public, like confetti at a failed parade. But under the glitter is a cold, unflinching void of substance. Megyn Kelly didn't flinch. She dissected every flimsy proposal with surgical precision, exposing the empty calories of AOC's rhetoric. Gutfeld didn't bother dressing it up. He torched the facade with pure ridicule. He pointed out the hilarious contradictions of her anti-capitalism crusade, while thriving in capitalism, her latest scheme, nationalizing industries she doesn't understand, pretending economic literacy is optional. And somehow her followers eat it up like gospel. But Kelly and Gutfeld won't have it. They've drawn the line slogans aren't solutions. Emotion isn't evidence, and performance politics isn't leadership. Strip away the curated selfies and teary live streams, and what's left? A confusing cocktail of outdated ideology served with misplaced confidence. Still, AOC marches undeterred by the intellectual wreckage she leaves. Because when facts fail, there's always another filter, another viral clip, another echo chamber waiting to cheer.